We are talking Santa Jaws. That's right, a Christmas-themed shark movie, directed by Misty Talley and written by Jake Kierman. Now, when I first heard of this, I thought, oh, it's just going to be more typical sci-fi movie, straight to DVD direct, like you see in things like Zombie Shark, all of that kind of stuff. And I was like, oh, I don't really want to watch it. But I'm kind of doing my Christmas horror films, and I do like shark films, so I thought I'll give it a try. Imagine to my surprise when I actually thought there was more to this movie than I initially anticipated. In actual fact, I would say this movie is comparable to a few others that you may be surprised to hear about. I would say this is a mix between the movie Krampus, the 2015 cinema release, Ted, the comedy movie, well, obviously with Mark Wahlberg, and let's say Jaws for the Revenge, to keep it realistic here. So what do I mean by that? So it obviously focuses on Christmas, and the story is there is this, you know, the family kind of get together at Christmas, and some of these people don't get along. And our primary character is this kind of young teenage boy who's a bit of a kind of a shut-in. He likes drawing comic books and things like that. And he's actually made this comic book with his friend called Santa Jaws, of which there is a shark which has got this kind of Santa's hat on its fin, and then it's got its teeth are kind of like Christmas lights and stuff like that. And that's his comic book, that's his creation. Now, he gets hold of a magic pen, and ultimately he kind of just is in a bit of the mood, just like Krampus, and you know, he kind of wishes this creature to life, and kind of almost like, oh, like sort of like you do in kind of just like in Krampus, the kind of, oh, kind of, I wish my family would just be eaten by this shark. And of course, like Ted, this kind of wish comes to life, and therefore it's now in our real world. So, you know, it's almost like, yeah, okay, obviously it's a silly kind of premise, but I wasn't expecting it to have quite this kind of level of backstory. I just thought there was going to be a Christmas-themed shark, and that was going to be it, and we just have to accept it like these things like Sharktopus and stuff like that. So I was quite pleasantly surprised with the level of kind of backstory and the setup that this movie actually had to kind of try and really kind of make it a little bit more interesting, a little bit more kind of going on. And the story kind of focuses on this young lad as he's trying to kind of like get rid of his creation that is slowly kind of trying to track down and eat his family members. Of course, we don't believe him. There is this Christmas kind of shark swimming around, etc. So that's your basic plot here. So what works, first of all? Now, I've already kind of hinted at what some other things I quite like, and that is the script. I actually thought the script here was quite clever, far more than this kind of level of movie deserves. I mean, there's been so many of these kind of straight to TV movies about sharks that are just ridiculous. Six-headed sharks, like all of those, Sharktopus, Mega Shark, Sharknado. They're stupid sharks just because there is. So I appreciated this one actually has some depth into it in regards to giving a backstory that's certainly different from other shark movies. So that was quite fun. And I quite like the design of the Santa Jaws itself. I really like the fact that it has these Christmas lights as its teeth, and it kind of plays a Christmas jingle as it's kind of swing past. So rather than the kind of for example, the Jaws theme, that it kind of plays these kind of just Christmas jingles as well. The movie is actually also quite meta, and it has a few little kind of in-jokes about kind of fandom and B-movies and various kind of pop culture references as well. So that was quite good. There are some quite funny moments within this movie as well, and I've got to say I was actually quite impressed with the characters here in regards to some of the family dynamics. So we have a few of these kind of family members, and they weren't quite as broad a stereotype as I was expecting. I mean, we have a kind of like various kind of, you know, conflicts within the family, but nonetheless they did feel like family and not ones that were cartoonishly different from each other, if that makes sense. So that I actually thought was quite good. So what doesn't work for me, I've got to say, the joke gets a little old. So as you go through this movie, you think, okay, you know, it's a fun premise, but you tire of it kind of about halfway through this film. The CGI, as you'd probably expect from a made-for-TV sci-fi movie, isn't brilliant, and the actual shark itself, although it's a fun design, Obviously, it looks kind of a little kind of, well, it doesn't look a little, it looks a lot cheesy and very kind of CGI. It's a little light on kind of gore. There are a couple of kind of, you know, limbs floating down and stuff like that that I thought were a little, you know, they were okay. And there are some really kind of hammy kind of acting here. Our bad guy, when it's kind of revealed, is a horrible actor, I'm sorry to say. And, you know, it's just a little silly at times, as you'd probably expect. But overall, I was pleasantly surprised with this movie. I actually thought this movie had far more heart than I was expecting, and actually a fairly interesting kind of premise. So I'm actually going to give this one an above average score. I would actually say this is actually a cut above a lot of these kind of shark sort of made for TV movies. Obviously, it's not going to be up there with Jaws, 47 meters down, Deep Blue Sea, but it's a lot better than kind of a lot of these other ones you'll see. So 6 out of 10 for me. Have you seen it? What did you think of it? Leave a comment. And I shall look forward to seeing you next time. Bye for now.